Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Survive and Protect. We got about maybe 8 minutes to go, and we're going to get started here in a few minutes. So be sure to tell your friends, family, co workers, neighbors to check out the show, all right? And we'll be here in a few minutes. We'll be ready, all right? Stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? What's going on? Glad you guys are coming in. I ask that if you're watching on Facebook, that you share this with your Facebook friends, family members, and if you're going to be watching on YouTube, subscribe and like the channel. All right. From time to time, I may be doing some things. We're about to start the show here in a minute or so or less, and Just get some things done here. All right, and from time to time, you might be seeing me mess around with the screen when you see me live here in a few seconds. And that's just me adjusting the screen because I want to make sure you guys are able to see what's going on the screen. So I make sure this is a good show for you guys and some great information. To some, this might be new, the information for some. And for others, it might be a refresher, just going over some things you might already know. But I think it's very important for everybody to know to refresh their memory on. And so, with that being said, let's start the show. Survive and protect. Let's get it. What's up, everybody? What's going on? And welcome to Survive and Protect. My apologies for taking a little bit too long today. I want to make sure I got everything correct on the screen. And like I said, from time to time, I will be refreshing the screen a little bit because it has some blurry looks. And I think I figured out why it has some blurry looks. And so you might see me looking like doing some things and doing some adjustments. So actually, you just bear with me a little bit as we move on with the show. Let's see if things get a little bit better for you guys to see. All right. I'm back on my OBS game, so I'm kind of learning and refreshing and relearning sometimes. And so I'm going to be looking at some my monitor, but I'm going on different tabs to make sure things look good and it's looking decent. I just want to make sure some things look as best as possible. Now, you guys going to be watching that word on the screen, 3 rules of personal security, going across the screen from time to time. It's going to move and stutter sometimes, and that's what I've been trying to work on, trying to get it to move, real smoothly. Excuse me, and it was moving that way earlier, but then if I let it move smoothly, the quality of the video might not be as great as far as seeing other things on the screen. So you might see it stutter here and there, all right? So what's important is that you guys get this information I'm going to be sharing with you today. All right. Let's see here. And as you guys know, I have a couple of courses here, and there are more on the way. There are more courses on the way. I'm going to be putting some other courses together for you guys who are interested in your own personal security, personal protection, real life situations, protecting yourself in real life situations. I enjoy all the sports and stuff like that. Sometimes I look at the sport moves and see how some of the moves that are being used in sports, how they can be tweaked a little bit and applied in a real life situation in the streets to where there's more destruction involved in it. Not that I have a mindset of I just want to go ahead and destroy people, but it's because of the seriousness of what the streets can bring to you. And so that's what my vision is. I don't like using mission per se. I'll replace mission with the word goal, but my vision it is to be able to teach you guys, show you guys how to really protect yourself in real life situations, which is dealing with things in the street if you come across them. Um, and so, with that being said, I got 2 courses available. There is the one you probably be looking at right now. They kind of changed up from time to time, but one course is how to be your own VIP protection specialist. All right. It's got a 5-star rating. You guys will see it on the screen periodically. And the other one is How to Simple Emergency Planning and four easy steps. All right. All right. And like I said, there's other courses coming on the way. So you guys continue to check out the site, which is on your screen right now, www.bit.ly/survive and protect. All right. Keep that in mind. Okay. And like I said, let me make sure everything is going good here. There's no freezes. Looks like it looks like my face is freezing from time to time. Let me see how I can get that changed a little bit. Because although my face is freezing to you guys, and it'll probably continue to do that, but I'm also recording the show at the same time. So the actual recording won't have those type of flaws in it, but I want to make sure I have these things fixed as we go along here. And like I said, what ends up happening is the quality of the video gets a little bad in replace of some of the things moving a little bit more smoothly. Like now, I'm looking at a Facebook stream, and it still has a little stutters in it, and so I'm not sure why that is. And this is just part of when you go live. It's a learning process. You test and you learn. That's something, a whole topic in itself that I could be talking about on another channel. So it's just testing and learning. But anyway, let's get on with the show. Again, you guys who are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button and hit that bell so you be notified of videos that are up and coming. And you guys on YouTube, also hit that thumbs up, that like, or them emojis, and share it to your friends' pages as well. Let your friends know. All right. So we're going to be talking about the 3 rules of personal security. All right. 3 rules of personal security. And I'm not going to hold you guys too long. And so we're just going to get right into it. And discuss that. All right. So, bear with me, ladies and gents. All right. So, with that being said, let's talk about the 3 rules of personal security. All right. When it comes to the 3 rules of personal security, we're going to talk about the first one being become the criminal. All right. So when I talk about becoming the criminal, I'm not literally saying, hey, you go out there in the street and become some criminals and you'll learn about the rules of personal security. All right. When it comes to being the criminal, I'm speaking of thinking like a criminal. All right. And some of you might wonder, well, what is that? How does a criminal think? Well, I would suggest that you look at it in terms of asking yourself some questions. All right. I would look at it in those terms of asking yourself some questions. And so what questions should you ask yourself? All right. A question you should ask yourself is in regards to being the criminal. Well, when we look at crimes, there's different types of crimes that go on, right? There are break-ins in your car. There are break-ins to your residence, whether it's apartment, home, a dorm room if you at a college campus, a hotel room if you were in the hotel. There's different types of break-ins. Like I said, a car break-in, hotel room, your dorm room, your house, your apartment. There's those type of crimes. And you have robberies in the sense of when a person approaches you and whether they do it by force without any weapons, or they have a weapon in their hand and they force you by the way of that weapon, or by the way, if they don't have a weapon, by way of their voice and their demeanor, demanding something from you outside of sexual and outside of something else. All right. So they want to rob you, they're going to use a weapon, or they're going to strong arm you, which means just physically by force take something from you. Another crime is assault, right? Another crime can be kidnapping. All right, so there's so many different types of crimes that can take place. So think like a criminal, become the criminal, be the criminal. So you want to ask yourself questions like, how would you, as the person, how would, or I could say me, how would I rob myself? If I was going to be a criminal, how would I rob myself? How would I attack myself? All right, if I wanted to assault me, how would I do it? All right. You can also go by asking a family member, a friend, or even ask a police officer. You run into one, just say, hey, if you were to rob me, how would you do it? And explain to them. You asking those questions because you want to make sure you step up your own personal security and be able to find out, come up with options to keep or to lessen, because you can't do everything 100%. It's not 100% proof, but you can do things to lessen somebody having to do those types of crimes to you. Same thing about breaking in your car, your house. Ask a police officer, ask another friend, family member, coworker. How would they do it if they were to break in your car? All right. And again, like I said, explain to them that you're just doing this because you want, you're feeling like your personal security is important and you want to step up and come up with options to lessen those things from happening to you. So one rule of personal security is to be the criminal and ask yourself questions. Now I just put 3 questions down there, but you can continue asking questions, whether you write it down or you sit down and think about it. Like I said, I put down, how would you rob yourself? How would you attack yourself? Another question would be, how would you kidnap yourself? All right, based off of the actions that you do throughout the day. If you're going to work, how do you leave in the morning? Do you leave at the same time every day? Do you take a certain route to work, the certain place where you drive? Do you take a certain route that you drive to go to work every day? Are there other options of different routes you can take to go to work? How about coming back home? Do you take the same way home every day? Do you change up? Do you leave work at do you leave work at different times of the morning or afternoon or evening based on what shift you work? Do you leave the same time in regards to kidnapping? Do you leave the same time every time? Can you change it up? Ask yourself those questions. How would you kidnap yourself? How would you assault yourself? How would you rob yourself? How would you break into your own residence? Whether that's your apartment, whether it's your house, how would you do that to yourself, right? So become the criminal, be the criminal, think like a criminal. All right. So that's one rule of personal security. Okay. Second, we have rule number 2, and these are in no particular order, but this is just how I put them. Don't be obvious. All right. Lower your profile. Okay. When you out and about, don't be, and this even applies to going, if you're going out of town, going on vacation, don't be obvious. Lower your profile. Meaning don't be too flashy around other people, whether it's your clothes, whether you're traveling, the suitcases you got, they look real expensive. If you have an expensive car, it's not too much you can do about that. But even your demeanor, do you have a demeanor that's just, you're loud in such a way that you attract attention to you? Lower your profile, all right? The clothes you wear, I think I mentioned that already, but do you wear flashier clothes? You wear jewelry, watches, rings, expensive purses for the ladies, shoes. Certain environments you go to, you want to blend in more with the way that people are dressing. And if you come in, if you happen to just start off dressing real flashy and you're more noticeable than the everyday citizens on the street, then maybe, especially if you're traveling and you go in your hotel, maybe you want to change your clothes once you get to the hotel and change into something more familiar grounds that matches the environment that you're in at that time. All right, so don't be obvious, lower your profile. All right, it's not too much to say about that. It's kind of obvious. All right, it kind of helps because before I even go into another one, another thing that comes to mind, you might be overseas somewhere visiting, vacationing or whatever, and you might have criminals and just they know how to pick out the tourists because the tourists behave and dress a certain way compared to the everyday citizens that live in that neighborhood. All right. The same thing if you're in the U.S. and you're just traveling to another city. There's certain type dress codes per se. You want to look at it like that. Certain type of demeanors of people, and you might want to just blend in with all that. Okay. You don't want to be too out there and too noticeable because the criminals can pick you out. You want to be where the criminals are looking at you and they can't tell whether you somebody that lives in that area or you don't. And so if they can't tell, they might move on to somebody else. All right. So keep that in mind. And then we're going to talk about lastly, which I think is important. All three of them are important. All right. It is what's your escape plan? All right. What's your escape plan? And this can apply to whether you're driving to work. This can, like I said, this goes for anything. Whether you're in your home neighborhood, whether you're traveling to work, whether you're going out of town to visit family somewhere else in the States, or you're going overseas on vacation, you're going into the US if you're just going to another state for vacationing, have some type of escape plan for wherever you're going to be at. If you're going to be in a hotel, have an escape plan. If you're going to be visiting another family member's house, you might want to have an escape plan from there too. All right. If you're going overseas somewhere and you're going to be out and about to certain locations, you got to have an escape plan. All right. You go into a restaurant, have an escape plan for the restaurant. Sometimes you can do it beforehand if you know about certain areas or you know about this restaurant, you know the layout of the restaurant. If you know about the hotel, the layout from the inside of the hotel, the outside, your family members' residence, if you know the layouts of these things beforehand, you can come up with an escape plan in case certain scenarios, go down at that location. In regards to restaurants and even if other places, even if it's outside, if you don't know about the layout, you got to make it. You got to do your create your escape plan on the fly. So when you get there at the actual location, you got to start looking around and figuring out if this happens or such and such goes down, where can I go to in a hurry and escape, right? And so you got to have some type of escape plan, okay, beforehand or on the fly when you get at the actual location. Like I said, again, if you're if you know about certain areas beforehand, you can kind of plan these things in advance and plan your escape plans in advance. But if not, then you got to do it once you get on the scene. Okay, so those are your three rules for of personal security. We're going to go back over them one more time. All right. So one rule of personal security is be the criminal. All right, or think like the criminal. Come up with questions. Right. Ask family members. Ask friends. Ask a police officer. If you have family members that are police officers, ask them. All right. If you have family members that are in some type of law enforcement or some type of security-based profession, ask them how they would rob you, kidnap you, um, attack you in an assault manner. If you're driving, how would somebody come kidnap you? as you're driving. Ask yourself those questions. If you were driving, how would somebody be able to kidnap you? How would you kidnap yourself? Think to yourself, man, how if I was to kidnap myself, what would I do? All right. And then when you come up with these answers, then you start coming up with options to deal with how to solve those particular problems. If you figured, for example, if you was driving, you say, how would I kidnap myself? Well, I would probably wait to where my car would be sandwiched in between other cars and they bumper to bumper, and I would just run up on the car, either smash the window or try to pull the door open to see if it's unlocked, smash the window maybe, and get you scared because of the smashing of the window. And at the same time, I'm going to unlock it, then pull you out, prepare you, and then come up with options on how to prevent that from happening. All right. For example, instead of being up on everybody's bumper like that, you might want to give yourself some more space from the car in front of you. All right. So that's one option to deal with in case something like that were to happen. You might be sitting there at the light behind a few cars. You're sandwiched in with the one in front of you. Another one's behind you, so you can't control too much what they do. They might be on your bumper as well. So the best thing you could probably do is leave more space up from the car in front of you. So in case somebody would have come and smash it, you'll be able to have some space. You might end up hitting some other cars to leave, but that's an option to get on out of there. Okay, this is an emergency situation. You got to do what you got to do, right? Another option could be, instead of, let's say there's 3 lanes, 3 car lanes, instead of being on the one closest to the curb or in the center, maybe you can be on the one that's on the left hand side, where it's more freedom to kind of maneuver yourself out of that situation. There's more space because you might have those. Some streets have those center lanes with the yellow lines, and you can get in the center lane because then you're able to turn into some business left or right, and that might be give you some more space and some more maneuvering room to escape a situation. All right, so that could be a solution to dealing with something like that, kidnapping or carjacking. All right. So again, the next one is don't be obvious, lower your profile. Right. Don't be obvious, lower your profile. That's kind of self-explanatory. That's in the sense of your demeanor as well as what you're wearing. All right. You're wearing flashy stuff. You might get noticed more from a criminal watching you. They might be considering um, robbing somebody that day. You might just be leaving the airport and somebody's watching you from the airport and might end up following you somewhere where you're going because you coming out with a lot of flash and stuff on. Unless you can handle yourself and don't have to worry about stuff like that. Even the ones who can think smart and still know to lower their profiles too. All right. So don't be obvious. And then not only what you're wearing, your accessories, the clothing and jewelry and stuff, your demeanor. Are you allowed? Normally, you're a loud and boisterous person by nature, and that attracts attention. You might not want that type of attention, depending on where you're going. You might want to, lower that mentality down, or what you normally would do. You might want to chill that out a little bit. Okay, depending on where you're at, where you're going. So don't be obvious. Okay, and again, like I said, lastly is have an escape plan. Right, what's your escape plan? Come up with plans of escape, whether you're going to a restaurant. Again, like I said, driving, you might be stopped at a light with loads of cars in front of you and behind you. You might want to leave more space than normal so you can get out of there quick enough in cases of emergency. Like I said, a restaurant, have an escape plan. A hotel, you visiting other family members, have an escape plan there. You don't know, you know, these things don't normally happen on a regular basis, but you never know what could happen. So why not come up with a simple escape plan in case this situation happens or that situation happens? All right. Um, and what else could we say here about escape plans? You might be going to a sporting event, to a stadium or an arena. What's your escape plan in case things get hectic and you got to get out of there? All right. You might have family members with you. What can you do to get everybody out there safely? All right. So keep those things in mind. All right. So those are the 3 rules of personal security. Okay. And again, like I said, you guys go to bit.ly/survive and protect. The course, How to Simple Emergency Planning in 4 Easy Steps, kind of applies to what I was talking about today in regards to creating plans and with coming up to come up with plans for different scenarios, simple steps to come up with, just like I was saying a minute or so ago about having an escape plan. What would you do if this happened? What would you do? Where would you go if this went down? All right. So that's a great course. And again, like I said, how to be your own VIP protection specialist, 5-star rating from a customer who purchased it. So you're going to get some great information in both courses. Again, more courses are coming soon. So you guys just keep an eye out on what's going on. And with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate you guys checking in. Share this video with family, friends. YouTube, like, subscribe, Facebook, follow the channel. All right, like it, share it with your people. And those on YouTube, you can share it as well. Okay. Comment. You want to have any comments? Put them down in there, man. I'll take a look at them. And we can go further with whatever your comments are. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys again for checking out Survive and Protect. And I'm going to start trying to do this a little bit more regular, going live every now and then and doing some live stuff with y'all. So I'm going to try to post and let you guys know when I'll be going live so you can be ready for it, so that you can check it out the live as opposed to checking out the replay. But with that being said, as always, survive and protect. I'm out. Peace.